some point the math is the math.
I think we can do a better job using that information.
It reinforces my belief that I have the best constituents.
Hello, District 6. Hello, Austinites. Hello, Clawback watchers. We are back. It is Friday afternoon. Glad to be back in the regular time slot after last week's early morning and unexpectedly long episode. Today, hopefully, I will keep my word and we will be shorter. We had a council meeting this week, a whole variety of different types of things. You know, we've been talking a lot about homelessness and Project Connect and the Land Development Code. We'll do a little bit on the code today, just as a reminder, but other stuff. We get to talk about other stuff today, which is fun because the city does a lot of things. And so let's dig into it. You know, I always hesitate when I turn my titles on to make sure I'm doing the right one. I did it. I did the right one this time. Three big things that we did in the council meeting that you probably won't see as much in the media. Auto aid. So auto aid is when you call 911 and you're needing fire or EMS response. The way auto aid works is whoever's closest. If you're closer to a Williamson County fire station or if you're closer to a City of Austin fire station, whoever's closest, whatever device is closest, goes first. City of Austin's had that type of arrangement with the Travis County fire station, the emergency service districts, for quite a while. That process is being updated, but more excitingly, for District 6, we're adding Williamson County to the mix. We approved some technology upgrades earlier this year that'll help facilitate that. You have to kind of coordinate your 911 dispatch in order to make sure that the closest device is arriving. Unfortunately, we weren't able to fully adopt the agreement this week, but I heard loud and clear a commitment from my colleagues that we will get this thing finalized on December 5th, which is our next council meeting right after Thanksgiving. It's going to be a real benefit to District 6, especially to the parts of District 6 that are much closer to fire stations and fire equipment in Williamson County ESDs. Think about that Jollyville Fire Station that's on Anderson Mill Road, or if you're in the far corner of Avery Ranch, the neighborhood closer to Great Oaks and the Brushy Creek side, you actually have pretty long response times right now for fire, and getting into auto aid will really help get those numbers down. So I'm excited that we are so close. Thank you to Chief Baker, our fire chief, and to Bob Nix, the president of the fire union, for working so hard to get this across the finish line. I'm sure we'll have this thing locked up on December 5th. That's exciting. Number two, our parks. We've been working, the city's been working on a long-range master plan. We've had committees, we've had District 6 people appointed to those committees, we've had public hearings, we've had meetings. There was one at the Anderson Mill Limited District office. The plan first came to City Council a couple of weeks ago. This was the week for adoption. I raised a couple of issues related to exactly how we measure the success of our park system. There's a national standard from an organization called the Trust for Public Land called the Park Score. The Park Score has a couple of different metrics in it. How many parks you have, the size of them, how accessible are they easy to get to by every part of your city, what kind of amenities, what kind of investments are being made. Austin has a slowly declining park score, but even though for many years we have tried to increase those investments, it's very difficult when you've got a lot of competing priorities. But I was glad to see the council really get to work on this one this week. We made a number of amendments that really helps clarify that it's not good enough to just get new parkland anywhere, that we want to make sure as we grow our park system that we're doing it in a way that is equitable to all parts of the city. There is a map called the Parkland Deficiency Map. So if you're more than a 10-minute walk, roughly half a mile in some parts, quarter mile in other parts, you're considered a parkland deficient area. And our changes to the parks long-range master plan will really help focus our investments in those areas. I think it's a really good step forward to both the desire of our community to have great parks and the need of our community to be fiscally responsible. So it's going to be good stuff. And then number three, two different resolutions on the council agenda this week related to the Red Line. Our magnificent train that serves primarily District 6 Leander and Cedar Park. If you've ever ridden the Red Line, you know that those trains during rush hour are full, headed south by the time they get past the Howard station. Lots more folks. Those parking lots are full in the mornings, both between the Red Line And with the commuter bus service, I try to take that bus myself sometimes when I can make it work. Today was one of those days I wish I had taken the bus. I don't know how Google Maps knows exactly how long it's going to take to get from District 6 to downtown, including the crazy people who don't know how to drive. How did they know? How did Google Maps know? Anyway, I digress. The red line resolutions that we adopted this week, one is related to a trail project that will follow the red line tracks, and then the other one is related to infill stations near the Domain and the future soccer stadium. So there's a lot of details, obviously, to work out on how we're going to get there, but it's great to see a commitment from the city to the future of amenities along the red line, which, as we all know, is a great asset to District 6 and far northwest Austin. So that's really good work on the red line. There was some other stuff that happened in the council meeting that you probably did hear about. Changes to West Campus zoning. We bought a hotel to help house folks experiencing homelessness. It's a great first step in that regard. We'll talk more about that kind of stuff later. Make those titles go away like magic. Let's do a quick update on the Land Development Code. Might be one of the favorite titles that I've done so far. I couldn't help but use it again. So I've shown you this map before. This is the tool that's on the city website that compares the current zoning to the proposed zoning in the draft. We're headed towards a number of council meetings in the next couple of weeks to review the draft, both the text and the map. We will likely take our first reading vote in December and then direct staff for whatever changes we think are necessary, leading to a final adoption in February. But the map tool is really important. I've had a number of constituents reach out to my office with questions about what is or isn't going to happen. I find in most cases there's assumptions being made that changes are being made broadly across every part of the city, when in fact those changes are often limited to specific zones. So it's always good to go to this map tool and really zoom in and check to see what the zoning is on whatever property it is that you're concerned about. I'm going to show you one today in the Anderson Mill neighborhood, just as an example of work still to be done on this process. So I'm going to zoom out at least a little bit so you can see there's 183 and 620. All the little colored areas are the city of Austin and the zoning map. If I zoom in to Anderson Mill, here's Lake Creek Parkway. There's that cute little condo development right there at Pecan Creek and Lake Creek. But there's this property here that's across from Anderson Mill Elementary. That's an apartment complex. But you can see, if I click on it, that it didn't actually get an updated zoning in the draft. It still says IRR. It still is interim. So that is going to be, and I found other examples of that across the district in multiple different places. This is part of the process of getting it right. So if you see other things on the map that you think are wrong, or that you think could be better, or where you think there should be more housing, that's obviously a big goal of what we're trying to do as a growing city. But send that information to my office, and we'll be sure to include that in our list of recommendations to staff as we get through first reading. I will say I've spent a lot of time looking through the map tool. It does get a little addicted. If you're a map fan like I am, you really start to dig in, and it is kind of fun. I guess I'm kind of nerdy in that way. But I guess that's why I have the right job. So make that map go away. That's all we're going to do today. Thanksgiving is coming up. I expect next week's Clawback will be the last one, at least for a week. We'll take Thanksgiving off, and then we'll get into December. Lots more to talk about on all of the things going on at the City of Austin. I'm going to move over to my credits. Thank you all again for watching the Clawback. Be sure to like, comment, share, tell your friends about it. It is really important as we move forward as a city that we're all working from the same page with the same facts. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish here on the Clawback. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week.